Hi guys, it's Kaeyi. I'm here with Scott Mercer and Darren Williams from Blizzard Entertainment. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about what you do?
Sure, I'm Scott Mercer. I'm a senior game designer at Blizzard. I work with the team that created all the dungeon and raid encounters for World of Warcraft.
Nice.
And I'm Darren Williams. I'm a senior gameplay engineer. Recently, I've worked a lot on the new pet battle system for the game, but I also worked with animation, spell effects, that kind of thing.
Awesome, cool. Okay, so what are your hopes for the new challenge mode, and do you want it to kind of have the same kudos as the PvP ranks did?
Yeah, I mean, we really have a lot of high hopes for challenge mode because a lot of players that necessarily haven't really gotten into PvP still want they want difficult content. They want a way to measure how skilled they are, and we really set up challenge mode to help those players. Like for one thing, we actually lock the item level of players as they go in. So that means that you can't just go out and get better items somewhere else and bring them back to the dungeon. It's really more about skill than the items. I think players will enjoy that. And of course, because challenge modes are timed, there's also going to be an element of competing amongst each other to see who can get the best time. So we have a leaderboard for that. So as a group, you might have the best time on a server, but then someone else comes along and gets a better time, and you're like, no, we have to go back in there and do it again. And then of course we've got great rewards.
Yeah, we have custom armor sets that you can get for getting gold, silver, bronze medals in your times and challenge modes, and those armor are really unique. So when you see people wearing them in the world,
you'll know.
They're amazing looking.
And every level 90 dungeon that we're adding has challenge mode.
Okay, and so the gear you get actually scales down, doesn't it? So you can't have someone say, they had a better gear than me, that's why they got a better time. Scales down, so everyone is on an even playing field.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all skill. So
yeah, skill based. That's great. Okay. What was the philosophy behind not allowing flying mounts between level 85 and 90 in Pandaria?
I think that allows us to direct the flow through the world a lot better. We want people to explore this amazing continent we've created. There are 7 new zones. You start in the Jade Forest, which is this really beautiful, lush forest, and we can get people down in the jungle, seeing all the little towns, all the little details. There's plenty for people to explore around the world, and flying is great. And when you get to 90, you'll be able to train your own cloud serpent. Really awesome new flying mounts. But until then,
yeah, you want people to explore it rather than just fly over it. So awesome, that makes sense. Okay. Which raid boss are you most looking forward to seeing players fight in regards to kind of tactics and dynamics wise?
Sure. So we have one raid encounter called Will of the Emperor. We think is going to be pretty unique. It's a fight where the 2 tanks actually end up having to dodge series of attacks. They have to move to the left, move to the right, maybe move forward, and so forth. And if they do that, it actually opens up sort of an opening on the creature they're fighting for the rest of the raid to then really hammer him in that vulnerability time. And the fight also has a lot of normally during a lot of raids, players don't really have that many opportunities to use a lot of their utility spells or crowd control spells, but with Will of the Emperor, many of the Mogu statues that come down, they're told you can stun them, you can snare them, you can do all kinds of things to them. So we really think it'll provide players with a bit different experience than we've seen in other raid encounters.
Most mobs in raids, I found in the past that you can't use CC on them, and it's kind of like they're completely useless, those skills. So it'd be really cool to actually be able to have those as part of the core fight. Awesome. Okay, so you've given players a lot to do at 90. We've got the challenge modes, the dungeons, the raids. Did you ever feel that you were spreading yourselves a little bit thin?
No, I don't think we really feel like we're spreading ourselves thin. It's something where the different the different parts of content that make up Mr. Pandaria, so we've got different designers working on all of them. The designers that worked on pet battles are different designers than the ones that work on dungeons and so forth. And we really just looked across in. Scenarios are another one. Like a lot of people actually pitched in and made scenarios. It was something where everyone was so excited about what a scenario could be that we had quest designers working on them, counter designers working on them. A lot of different places actually. Even some of the class guys worked on them as well. So we all really enjoy like working on the game, and where we get like excited and geeked up about like a new piece of content. We're all like, yeah, we'll totally do that. Like, I'm bringing my crazy idea. Here's my cool thing. Like, yeah, totally. I mean, just like riffing off each other's like creativity,
just developing and becoming what it is.
It really feels supernatural. And never was it like, oh, we can't do that. It's like, no, just get it in, make it awesome.
Okay, so coming on that, is there anything that you wanted to put in Mr. Pandaria that you didn't have time to fit in? That's something you may look at in the future, or?
Well, that's an interesting question. I feel like for Mr. Pandaria, we really, we had the goals that we set up for him, which was really making sure that players had a tremendous amount of things to do at level 90. And I think, between scenarios, challenge modes, pet battles, we really feel like we're providing all that. I mean, another thing is, we have the most daily quests we've ever had in expansion. I think we have over 300 daily quests.
Wow.
There are factions to work on. I mean, Darren mentioned you get to train your own Cloud Serpent.
Yeah.
There's like little bits of lore to find it all across the continent. There's just so much to do. And the nice thing about it is, like with a game like this, like we never feel necessarily regret for not putting something in, because we're gonna have patches.
Yeah, you have constant update patches, new raids.
There's always opportunities.
Yeah, we feel like there's something for everybody in this expansion. It's the best expansion we've done. There's all sorts of content. Whether you've got time to raid or just time to log in for half an hour, there'll be something for you to do.
It's great that as well you've got, like, with the competitive side of, like, the challenge modes, it kind of brings people that can't have, like, a 25-man raiding guild and have those 5 people to still feel like they can be sort of professional at a game as well. And how did you feel about the backlash from the community regarding the pet battles? I know there's been a lot of people talking about it and not liking it. Personally, I think it's awesome, but what did you guys kind of react to that?
I think there was a bit of uncertainty about it when we announced it. And, we had a really strong beta when we released pet battles on the beta. I think a lot of people came around to it like, this is really cool. Like, all these pets that I've collected, I can now level up and battle, and go out and make new ones. I can battle against friends. It's... I think the feedback has been really strong. So.
That's great. So once people got to try it, they kind of came around to it and realised that it was a cool thing.
I mean, that same thing happened even on the team, and there were some people on the team that were like a little skeptical, and then, like, we actually tested it like internally. It's like, hey, here's what pet battles is. People tried it that were skeptical before, and like we're total converts. I mean, it's just a fun activity to do in World of Warcraft.
Awesome. Okay. So in the last year, there's been quite a few MMO launches. We've had Star Wars: The Old Republic and Guild Wars 2. Is there anything you've kind of taken from that and realised that you want to do it yourselves and try and make it better?
Well, I think we play not just like Morgs, but we play other games as well. I mean, we don't necessarily look at any one particular game or any one feature and go like, oh, we have to do that. We just take it all just sort of amalgamates in our brains of like ideas and so forth. So I can't really point to one specific thing, but we take our influences from not just games but comics and movie and all these kinds of things. So it's really hard to point.
Okay. Okay, so there's a rather mean-looking Pandaren on the front cover of Mr. Pandaria. So are you trying to aim it not to be the cute, cuddly pandas that we associate with? And do you think you're limiting yourself to like a certain group of people with it being quite a panda fantasy class and a race?
I think that it really shows like both pandas and the monks. The monks are a Pandaren class that have taught it to the rest of the world, and they fight passionately, one-armed combat. They're very aggressive when they decide to, they have to defend something.
Yeah.
So I think that really captures both the monks and the pandas. Also, that's Chen Stormstout on the cover, who is like, iconic panda from history. So.
I think when you watch the trailer, I think I was really shocked when I saw it and was like, wow, he's badass. He's not this cute panda that everyone was expecting. And, the rivalry between the Alliance and the Horde as well. And you see that, and I think that really does kind of show that, it's not going to be a cute, fun panda. It's going to be something that, people should be scared of.
Yeah, bears have really amazing claws. They can be, when they feel like they have something threatened that they want to protect, whether it's family, whether it's their town, whether it's even their culture. I mean, they will rise to defend that.
Awesome. Okay, and lastly, so what's next for us? What can we look to see in the future?
Well, you mentioned the Horde and Alliance there. The conflict is really going to escalate over the next few patches. So we're already at work on our next content patches, and I think for people who like our fans of Warcraft, the Orcs versus Humans, they'll get some big rewards what's coming
Awesome. Because I felt with Castleism, it kind of made the Horde and Alliance come together to fight, Deathwing, and now you're kind of like throwing us apart again to have that rivalry which we had in previous expansions.
I mean, Horde and Alliance is something from the very beginning when you step inside the first zone, Jade Forest, because when the Horde lands and they realize like the Alliance has like already been there, they're like, wait, we have to like take out the Alliance before, because there's this new land, and they don't want to let the Alliance like exploit that, and vice versa, So, and it actually like that, bringing that conflict to what was normally a peaceful land actually causes problems for Pandaria. There's this villain type called the Shah, which is an actual manifestation of like negative energy. So there's Shah of anger, Shah of hate, Shah of violence, that kind of thing, and it's you as the Alliance and the Horde that conflict is bringing that here. You're disturbing the harmony of Pandaria. So, and again, we'll keep on seeing that in patches and so forth, because Garrosh has got his plans, Varian's got his plans. You'll see them both sort of facing off as time goes on.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.